Hi Northview Primary. I hope everybody is staying safe and healthy. And since a lot of us didn't get to do too much 3D art in school, I wanted to show you guys how to make some simple clay at home using things that you probably have at your house. So I have some salt, I've got water, and just some regular all-purpose flour. And I've already got 1/4 of a cup of water measured out here, and this is just some extra water in case I notice that my clay is a little bit too dry. So we're going to start by mixing 1/4 of a cup of regular salt into our water. It's kind of a lot of salt. So you can use anything to stir it with. Got a spatula. And we're just going to make sure that the salt dissolves into the water. So we're going to give it a good stir until we can kind of not hear so much grittiness while we're stirring. And now that's pretty good, I think. I am going to add in 1/2 of a cup of flour. It's okay if it doesn't come out perfect. We can always add a little bit more water or add a little bit more flour. Just gonna dump that in there. And this clay recipe, it only makes a small batch. So you could easily double this if you've got brothers or sisters, or if you want to make something bigger or just have more clay. And we're going to start out using whatever we're stirring with to mix it up. And then as it comes together, I am actually going to start using my hands to mix it up with. So, coming together pretty good. Make sure we get all the flour from the edges. And once it gets a little bit tough to stir with your stirrer, that's when you know to start using your hands. And so this clay, you can actually keep it in the refrigerator for about a week in like a Ziploc bag, or wrap it up in some plastic wrap. And it'll stay good for about a week, and you can keep making new things out of it like you would with Play-Doh. Or you can actually make something and let it dry out in the sun, or even put it in, let your parents or an adult put it in the oven at about 150 to 200 degrees until all the water dries out of it, and then it'll be hard enough for you to paint on or to draw on with markers, or even like gel pens, or let's see, any kind of pen really you could write on it with. You will have to be careful though, and you want to make sure that if you do that, you don't let it get too thin, because it is very fragile and it will break. So I think I can start kneading this with my hands. And if it feels a little bit too sticky, you can always add some more flour to it, or just put your hands in some flour, and while you're kneading it, it won't stick to your hands so much. Get this last little bit out of here. And you want to make sure that there's just no lumps in your clay. And it doesn't need to be as dry as Play-Doh would be. You want it to be a little bit wetter than that, but it doesn't need to be so wet that it's sticky. And so you can make anything you want with this. You could make it all one piece, or I'm going to show you if you wanted to layer pieces on top or connect things together. You want to make sure that they're about at least as thick as a cookie. So as thick as like your pinky nail. If it's any thinner than that, it might break off when you're putting it out in the sun or in the oven, and once it gets hard. But if you want to layer these things on top of each other. Let's see. I'm going to flatten it out into like a slab. And then say I wanted to put some like balls on top of it, or maybe their eyes. I was going to make a smiley face. If you're going to put it in the oven or out in the sun to dry, you can just dip your finger in some water and put it onto the clay where you're going to stick it, and stick your piece onto there, and that will help it stick together in the oven so that when it comes out of the oven, it's all stuck together. So I hope you guys enjoy this and you have fun with your clay.